The very ground beneath Ethan's feet trembled with a foreboding rhythm, as if the facility itself were alive. The walls, once sterile and white, had succumbed to a creeping black mold that spread like dark veins, pulsating with an unsettling vitality. It seeped into every crevice, filling the air with a musty, damp smell that clung to his lungs. Ethan's heart raced, his instincts sharpening, as he caught sight of something shifting beneath the floorboards, an unseen force that whispered to him like a haunting melody. Ethan turned abruptly, his voice tense with urgency. "There's something down there." His words hung heavy in the stale air, causing Perko, his colleague, to furrow his brow in confusion. "What do you mean?" Perko replied, uncertainty lacing his tone. The tension crackled between them, as Ethan squeezed his eyes shut, concentrating. The mold wriggled along the walls, as if responding to his call. "I can feel it," Ethan insisted, a shiver of anticipation running down his spine. A core, or something close to it. Chris, the pragmatic member of their team, had been rummaging through a military bag. The clink of metal against metal broke the heaviness of the moment, as he pulled out a handgun, its weight cold and reassuring in his hands. He extended it toward Perko, who hesitated for a mere second before accepting the weapon. "If you're going down there, you're not going unarmed," Chris stated firmly, their eyes locking in a shared understanding of the danger ahead. Perko nodded, his grip tightening around the handle, feeling the cold steel ground him against the encroaching fear. Rose, with a flicker of concern in her eyes, stepped closer, her voice a soft whisper laden with worry. "Be careful." He offered a faint smile, masking the turmoil beneath, before turning towards the dark hallway that led to the unknown depths below. As Perko opened the heavy metal door, the loud groan echoed around the empty facility, sending a chill through him. A rush of cold air enveloped him as he descended the staircase, the darkness swallowing him whole. Each creak of the steps beneath his feet reverberated ominously, and the scent of mold intensified, wrapping around him like a shroud. Deeper and deeper he went, the very essence of the laboratory shifting, as if it were a living entity breathing with him. Old pipes hung like skeletal remains, remnants of broken lab equipment lay scattered across the damp floor, and the walls were completely engulfed by the suffocating mold. The further he ventured, the more alive the space felt, as if the darkness were observing him. Suddenly, a wet sound sliced through the silence, a damp, slithering rustle behind him. Perko spun around in a panic, just as a grotesque creature composed entirely of mold lunged from the ceiling. Time slowed as he raised the gun, firing multiple shots that echoed like thunder in the cavernous space. The creature crumpled into a puddle of black sludge, but his victory was short-lived as more sounds erupted from the shadows, awakening a swarm of similar horrors. The basement transformed into a battlefield as creatures crawled from every conceivable angle, filling the air with their grotesque writhings. Perko fought fiercely, each flash of his flashlight illuminating the chaos around him. He fired again and again, the adrenaline coursing through his veins as he struggled against the onslaught of the mold creatures. After what felt like hours, silence descended upon the corridor, heavy and oppressive. Perko, chest heaving, reloaded his weapon, when suddenly he heard it. Footsteps, but not of a creature. These were human. Drawing closer, he spotted a figure stumbling into the beam of his flashlight. It was Mia Winters, disoriented and lost, her expression one of confusion and relief as she met his gaze. "Mia?" he questioned, lowering his gun, hope washing over him in waves. "Perko," she whispered, recognition flickering in her eyes. But then, in a swift motion, she grasped his arm, her grip tight and urgent. "You shouldn't be down here." Perko frowned, a deep concern settling upon him. "What are you talking about?" Her gaze shifted to the darkness beyond, fear pooling in her eyes as she whispered, "It's not just the mold anymore." With a shared determination, they approached a massive steel door, its surface pulsing with a life of its own. Beneath their feet, the ground vibrated ominously, a deep rumbling echoing from the abyss below. With bated breath, they slowly pushed the door open, revealing an enormous underground chamber. Black roots of mold intertwined across the walls, stretching like a living forest. The entire cavern pulsed with an eerie light, alive and breathing, filling Perko with disbelief. "What is that?" he murmured, staring at the surreal spectacle. Mia stepped closer, her voice a mere whisper in the cavernous space. The root. The weight of her words echoed through the chamber, hinting at the secrets and dangers lurking within the darkness, drawing them both deeper into the unknown.
The Megamycete was destroyed, but it was never the true source. It was only a node, one organ in a much larger network. The real organism was something older, something deeper, something alive beneath the earth. Ethan called it the root. Rose's connection. Rose is not infected. She is the final living link. Through her, the root can return.
Rose clutched her head, her fingers trembling against her temple as a symphony of whispers swirled around her. Each voice carried the weight of memories, faint echoes of individuals consumed by the insidious black mold that hung like a shroud over their lives. The air was thick with despair, each breath a reminder of those lost to the creeping darkness. "They're all still here," she murmured, her voice a fragile thread that barely broke the silence, infused with a haunting realization. Meanwhile, across the expansive lab, Chris watched Ethan with a growing sense of dread. The gears of understanding turned slowly in his mind, until the truth struck him like lightning. He turned his gaze toward Rose, the gravity of the situation crashing down upon him. "If the mold needs her, then this never ends," he whispered, the weight of his words curling around them like the acrid tendrils of the mold itself. Rose's eyes flashed with confusion and fear as she looked at him, her heart pounding in her chest. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice shaking, laden with uncertainty. Chris did not flinch. Instead, his focus sharpened as he looked directly at Ethan. "As long as she lives, the root will always have a way back," he stated, the implication hanging in the air like a heavy fog. Tension coiled between them, a palpable force, as Chris slowly drew his pistol, his hand quivering with the weight of the decision he faced. Memories of the world burning around him flashed before his eyes, each flame a testament to choices gone awry. "I've watched the world burn too many times. Not again," he declared, the resolve in his voice masking the storm of emotions within. But Rose stepped forward, her gaze fierce. "If it stops this," she began, her voice a fragile beacon in the murky gloom, only to be cut off by Ethan's sharp retort. "No." His voice was firm, yet there was an unsettling change in him. In a dramatic transformation, black mold began to spread across Ethan's body, altering his very essence. He became a grotesque amalgamation of human and mold, yet still, he stepped protectively in front of Rose. "I won't let her die too," he declared, a fierce loyalty igniting in his eyes, even as the darkness threatened to consume him. With his pistol aimed, Chris felt the tremors of the laboratory beneath him, the very foundation responding to the stirrings of the root far below. "Ethan, move," Chris commanded, desperation lacing his tone as he struggled with the weight of the moment. Ethan stood resolute, his voice unwavering. "No." The finality of his word resonated through the air like the tolling of a bell, echoing the choices they had all made.